Hi, I welcome all of you to to part 2 of chapter 14. The ration of 7 days to Kunti and eight already eaten. There is still enough for 9 days, I thought, not with comfort, but with desolation, and hatred came welling up again for her who had deprived me of the grain, and contempt for myself who had relinquished it. I waited a long time that night before going out, for fear that Quinty might be watching. There's nothing she would do, I thought, lying there in the darkness. I must wait and walk with care and return unseen. I'll match my wits against hers, I thought cunningly, lying and listening to uneasy slumber about me, and I will yet win. Clever though she is, she shall not have all. I rose at last and went out softly and looked about me and went quickly to the hole I had dug and clawed away the earth until I saw the bundle, white under the starlight. I squatted down, crooning silently, untied it, ran my fingers through the grain, and I knew that then there was no more than a handful left, a day's supply, no more, not the 9 days supply I had looked to find. So Kunti watches her prey in the previous part, in the imagery of a vulture is shown. Kunti watches her like prey. Uh, the resilience and desire to win of Rukmani is simple, but we can feel the desperation Rukmani is going through. Kamala Markandeya talent to bring out the intimate emotions through simple but yet powerful language. So the desolation means grief, and relinquished means given. My stomach lurched, blood came pounding to my head. I felt myself going dizzy. Who could have known? Who had done this to me? I heard a voice moaning, and it was mine, and the sound was terrifying, for I had not known, for I had not meant to speak. I looked about me wildly, seeking to see even in that darkness, nothing in sight, not a sound except my own loud heartbeats. I dug my nails into my palms, striving for calm, trying to think who could have done this. Kunti, but she only knew of the granary, not this other hiding place. My own family, no, I thought with despair, thrusting aside the small core suspicion each time it formed. Surely not. Who else? Who? A long time passed when at last I rose. My limbs were stiff and prickling, and the darkness had given way to the first grey beginnings of dawn. So Rukmani takes the total responsibility of providing for the family in a patriarchal society. That's why she feels so bad. And in the place where they said the 9 day supply was no more, so it's actually dramatic in the situation. Nathan was not in the hut when I went back. I saw him sitting beside the paddy fields as he often did when he could not sleep. The boys were still asleep, the two older ones side by side. Cootie squeezed close to Ira, and she with the arm thrown across him. I shook her by the shoulder, and Cootie walked first and began to cry. I picked him up and took him outside and left him there. And when I went back, the others were awake. I looked at the three faces and I thought bitterly, one of them has done this to me. Which one? Which one? I thought, questioning, looking at the three faces as if to read their voice thoughts. But there was nothing to see save alarm. They shrank little from my vehemence. So vehemence means is insistence. I must know, I shouted. I must know who has done this thing. They looked at me as if I had lost my senses. I said timidly, we would not take what belonged to us all. Tell me I'm imagining the loss, I stormed at her, or that I myself have eaten it. They stared at me in silence, amazed. Outside Kuti was bawling. Attracted by his cries, Nathan had come up. Now he called to me. See to the child, he said, frowning. Can you not hear him? He will choke. So much the better, I said. It will be 1 month less to feed. You are ill, he said. You do not know what you are saying. He picked the child, soothing him in his arms, and then gave him to Ira. My heart is sick, I said. I have been robbed and by one of my own children of rice, which above all things is most precious. Is that what you have said to them? I nodded. I saw his face feather. I took it, he said at last. You, my husband? I do not believe it. It is true. Silence felt like a shroud. So a shroud in this place means Rukmani's emotion is tragic. Uh, the pathetic and emotional plight is clear in a poetic sense. I listened to it, locked in my own brooding bitterness. Then it was rent by a sound so raw, so painful that my nerves began screaming in response. I looked up at it was Nathan. His face was working. From his throat came those dry, hideous sobs. Hideous means shocking. Not for myself, he was muttering, trying to control his treacherous voice. For another, I took it for another. There was no other way. I hoped you would not notice I had to do it. I went to him. I did not want to know any more why he had done it or for whom. It was no longer important, but he was still speaking. It was as if he could not stop. Kunti took it all, I swear. She forced me. I did not know, not want you to know. Presently he was quiet. She has a strange power, this woman, I said, half to myself. Not strange, Nathan said. I'm the father of her sons. She would have told you, and I was weak. So this is very shocking. And this is why in the previous instance, when Nathan was angry, when Rukmani nursed to Kunti, this was the reason why he was angry. Disbelief first, disillusionment, anger, reproach, pain. To find out after so many years in such a cruel way. Kali's words. She has fire in her body. Men burn before and after. My husband was of those men. He had known her not twice, or not once, but twice. He had gone back to give her a second son, and between how many times I thought, bleak of spirit, bleak means cold. So this is very complex, this situation. While her husband in his importance me capability, and I in my innocence did nothing. It was a long time ago, Nathan said. I was very young and she a skillful woman. The first time was before our marriage, he said. One did not see the evil for the beauty, he said. At last I made an effort and roused myself. It is as you say, a long time ago, I said verily. It is as long time ago as you say verily. That she is evil and powerful, and I know myself. Let it rest. So both of them got united against the common enemy. Now at last the rise, then now at last of the rise was gone. It was in a sense a relief. No amount of scheming and pairing would make it go any further. The last grain had been eaten. Thereafter, we fed on whatever we could find the soft, ripe fruit of the prickly pear, a sweet potato or two, blackened and half rotten, thrown away by some more prosperous hand. Sometimes a crab that Nathan managed to catch near the river. Early and late, my sons roamed the countryside, returning with a few bamboo shoots. A stick of sugar came left in some deserted field, or a piece of coconut cake picked from the gutter in the town. For these, they must have ranged widely, for other farmers and their families in love, like plight to ourselves, were also out searching for food, and for every edible plant or root there was a struggle, a desperate competition that made enemies of friends and put an end to humanity. So hunger and starvation, they fought to get anything edible. So in the place, she revealed her story as well. Uh, so she revealed her story as well in that place. Mm, and how they understood each other. Kunti had taken so much more than precious rice, even peace in the house. It was not enough. Sometimes from sheer rebellion we ate grass, although it always resulted in stomach cramps and violent retching. For retching means vomiting. For hunger is a curious thing. At first it is with you all the time, waking and sleeping and in your dreams, and your belly cries out insistently, and there's a knowing and a pain as if your very vitals were being devoured. And you must stop it at any cost, and you buy a moment's respite, even while you know and fear the sequel. So the sequel is the result, and the respite is the interval. Then the pain is no longer sharp but dull, and this too is with you always, so that you think of food many times a day, and each time a terrible sickness assails means assaults you. And because you know this, try to avoid the thought, but you cannot. It is with you. Then that too is gone, all pain, all desire, only a great emptiness is left, like the sky, like a valley in drought. And it is now that the strength drains from your limbs, and you try to rise, and you cannot find or to swallow water, and your throat is powerless, and both the swallow and the effort of retaining the liquid tax you to the uttermost. So the difficulties of starvation is shown here. It will not be long before the harvest, Nathan would murmur, and I would agree with him, stifling the query whether our strength would last till then, saying, "Ah, yes, not long now, only a little time before the grain is ripe." It happened to me too, but could not see myself, only what happened to others. So their flesh melt away, and their skin sag and sink between their jutting bones. So their eyes retreat into their skulls, so their ribs curve out from under the skin. And what withered the young bore doubly hard on the old, and they were emaciated twice over. But of us all, could he suffer the most? He had never been a healthy child, and now he was constantly ailing. So, in the place where only a little time before the grain is ripe, in spite of his infidelity, their relationship had not ended. First, he asked for ice water and cried because there was none, but later he gave up asking and merely cried. Even in his sleep, he whimpered, twisting and turning endlessly, permitting no one to rest. Ida was the gentlest with him, and tirelessly patient, nursing him in her skinny arms and giving him most of what came to her. But more often than not, he turned away, unable to take the rough foot view of her, and then she would hold him against her and give him her breast, and he would pull at the parched teeth and be soothed, and for a while his thin wailing would die away. So the author is giving the readers a vivid description. The author is giving the readers a vivid description of hunger and make it a tangible reality to the readers. So, as a conclusion, we can say about the famine the family eventually faced, the Round drought, the Kunti's manipulations, and the eventual revelation of the secret that Nathan had so long concealed with himself, and the struggle for survival. In the future chapter, we will learn how. In chapter 15, we'll in no in the future chapters we'll learn how Kuti died, and in the next chapter, in chapter 15, we'll learn how Raja also died. So thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel, like this video, and click the bell icon for more notifications on future videos. Thank you.